Welcome to South America. Welcome to Rally del Paraguay, a brand new round of the World Rally Championship.
It is a brand new round, so I think what we should do is we should take a look at one stage from each of the rally's 3 days. This is our day one stage that we've had a look at. It is in fact the opening stage of the rally, David. 18 kilometres. It's our first opportunity to have a look as well at the Paraguayan stages. My goodness me, where do we start?
You can't stop smiling. It's just absolutely bonkers in there, isn't it? It's so fast in places. Our friend here on the motorbike
not to take the water splash.
Yeah.
That bike's seen a little bit of action in its time, hasn't it?
There's just so much of everything, isn't there? There's so much quick stuff. There's so many undulations that we didn't really expect.
Absolutely.
So many jumps, so many crests, so many kickers, everything. And then finally, the finish is just up there. Again, super quick stuff, square left at the top and over the finish. But here...
It really what got me in this opening stage, David, was the speed. There are some very long sections where if you're brave, you will just sit in top gear with your foot planted. But you have to be brave because it's not like Finland long sections where it's reasonably predictable, it's reasonably smooth. As you mentioned, there are dips, there are kickers, there are jumps, there are, for a place that's got no topography, there are some pretty steep up and down hills. Yeah,
and you're not going uphill for a long time. You know, it's probably 50 metres, 100 metres max. But as you go over the top there's a little undulation. The car's going to be this way. You've got to be ready for it. You've got to be comfortable with the car at all sorts of angles.
Ding, ding, dong.
Bing, bong, bing.
Bing, bong, bing in the stage. But here's the other thing, David, that kind of surprised me as well a little bit. The surface.
Yeah.
You know, the surface is different in places, but predominantly, you know, we've got this very hard-packed road that's almost polished already. When Elvin Evans comes and wrecks this stage tomorrow, I don't think he'll be too disappointed. He won't be too concerned because...
There's not a lot of cleaning.
It doesn't look like there's a lot of cleaning.
There's cleaning in some of the sections where they've put those artificial chicanes in and they've taken you round a triangle or whatever. Yes, they've had to put some rock in there and some stone in there. So the one section that was really interesting in here, where they've taken quite a long loop through almost through a ranch and through a field. But there's lots of that, you know, and this is very, very typical of what we're going to see through Friday. You know, none of the stages are far from here.
But that ranch section is really interesting because we talked about the speed, we talked about the mentality needed to keep your foot planted, to find that bravery, to get the top speed out of the car. And then it's an absolute mindset change. It's a rhythm change. You turn onto a road that's cut out through a field into that ranch. It's dark almost under the trees. It is one extreme to the other. But not easy first thing in the morning on the first stage,
but
David.
It's not like a typical sort of finish
stage.
Let's
See how much water's in this water splash here as this truck comes through.
It's not like a Finland stage where you're turning onto a smaller road and the speed does come down quite dramatically. In some of those places, you're going to have to commit because they're still third, fourth, fifth gear corners.
Absolutely.
That you're going to be able to carry the speed through, but that's where you've really got to be brave because the car can't move
and absolutely
too much
accurate,
further.
100% accurate through those sections. Here we go, there's a few of them coming down.
No,
Is he going to come across the way the other biker came? No, he's going for it.
We needed a bit more commitment, didn't we?
Yeah, keep those feet warm, sir. Feet warm, feet dry even. Reasonable job. Bicycle, what's he going to do? Motorbike even? Yeah, same thing. Keep the feet up. Oh, good job, good job. Now this one, I'm a bit fearful here. Oh, no, well done, sir. Well done, sir. There we are, off he goes. Listen, if you want to see a bit more of this stage, and there's a good 25 minutes of it on Club DirtFish. You've got to sign up to Patreon, but it's well worth it. David and myself have had a look at every metre of this opening stage.
Some great navigation in there as well. That's all I'm saying.
Not been my finest day for navigation, folks. No. But anyway, I did find our way through this stage. As I say, if you want a better look at the stage, take a look. Club DirtFish on Patreon. That is the opener of Rally Paraguay. So this is our Saturday stage, stage 11 and stage 15. And David, very different from what we saw of Friday's stages. Let's talk about the start of the stage. Blindingly fast. And what I noticed, David, really quick, but also really loose out there.
Yeah, way more loose around. It has dried. There's been no rain overnight, so we are now on Wednesday. Definitely very different nature of stage. Like you said, really quick. Just probably the first 5 or 6 kilometers flat, and then just a hairpin right. There's not any sort of big deviations off into the trees to the woods. It's just those kind of hairpins or almost chicanes to slow the cars down, and then you get into the second half of the stage, which is behind us.
But what we saw yesterday when we looked at the Friday stages in the previous stage, we saw quite a lot of topography. We saw a lot of kickers. We saw a lot of compressions. Not so much of that. There were 1 or 2 interesting spots where you thought, oh, the car will just skip here, maybe.
But more straightforward, Carl.
Much more straightforward.
You know, and particularly those 2 jumps that we saw were...
It's a well-established road. You know, quite often when we go into the private ranches, into private land, it's roads that have been manufactured for the rally.
Yeah.
I suspect there's something going on with this in that regard, but I also suspect it's been used for this kind of thing, national rounds, many times, because it's a very decent road and very different. There's a lot in terms of corners. It's a bit nadgery.
It's nadgery. It's more Mickey Mouse. I wasn't a fan of the second half of this at all. There was just... It felt really quite artificial. A lot of the slow corners in the first part of that second half of the stage, some really big rocks around. So the second pass that the recce has been through, that could really cut up quite badly. There's a lot of damp around, a lot of water around still in some places. So it will dig out and it will rut up, and it's just it's not a terribly exciting part of the route.
But I do agree with you. On some of the very slow corners, it was already incredibly rocky, and you could look at the side of the road. Again, it's a road that's been made, but it has been built up over the years. There are some big rocks just waiting to be pulled out. It isn't aesthetically perhaps the most entertaining part of the rally, but I do think we might see something in this stage because there was plenty to catch them out, plenty, and it's such a different rhythm change in there.
But the difference is, Cole, there's one rhythm change here.
Yeah, well, that's
off the big road into this road, whereas Friday stages, there's lots of rhythm changes. Certainly in the first half of this stage, you're not going to see massive differences in the split times, and probably not so much even in the second half. It's symptomatic of the stages we're going to see on Saturday. Generally quicker, less undulations, and some more of this ranch stuff.
So there we are, folks. That is stage 11 and stage 15 running on Saturday. One more day to go. That is Sunday. Where should we go? I think we should head to the power stage. So that was the power stage, David. The very final stage, obviously, of Rally Paraguay. And again, something quite different.
Something very different. And just... lots of changes, more tarmac in there than I think we've seen on any other stage. It's tricky, Cole. It's not, there's no diplomatic way to say this. I'm not an enormous fan of the power stage. It's a huge challenge, no doubt, because when you're firing the car down that really narrow section at top speed, that's commitment. When you're then deciding, again, which jump to fly, when you come down that really narrow section and there was that jump towards the end, we reckon you can take probably 2 or 3 seconds if you give the car its head and you fly over that jump. But you are threading the eye of a needle at super high speed. Risk versus reward, people are going to brake there. There's not a character in there that you think, that's what it is.
There were some odd sections, for me, some really strange sections. We talk about drag races. That is a drag race. I expect to see a phenomenally high average speed in that stage. There was a section there, David, where we came down that hill, gentle hill, around and over, over the bridge with the water either side. And then we literally, we had maybe down to 4th, 3rd, little nadgery, and then flat out again. 3 or 4 kilometres where you are barely lifting. Yes, there's a challenge in it. Yes, it will probably look spectacular from the helicopter.
I like that long right-hander.
Not sure.
The long right-hander's quite cool.
The causeway was the word I was looking for.
Causeway.
The causeway.
That was cool.
I think it will look cool, but I fear for what the drivers are going to say. They're going to look at that and go, that is not rallying. Where is our skill in this? Where do we show our skill? There is the ability, as you said, to pick and choose, to get the speeds right over the jumps and through the compressions. But it's absolutely bonkers fast. There are long sections where really all that is slowing you down in there are what look like speed bumps. And you're going to have to decide, aren't you, what you do on those speed bumps.
Some of them are quite vicious, though, Colin. I don't think there is a decision, It's almost not, obviously it's not vertical, but it's very, very difficult to get the car over there quickly without potentially damaging it. And, you just got to be careful. You can't be on the brakes. You're going to load the front of the car up. But then to end here is pretty sensational.
It's absolutely sensational.
It's
and do you know what? Do you know what might actually add a bit more spice to that stage? We're not expecting rain Friday, Saturday, but there is this forecast for heavy showers. A bit of rain in that stage, that kind of clay-like surface becomes glass, ice-like. That tarmac bit downhill at the end will be treacherous. We could see all sorts of drama if it rains.
A bit of rain in any of the stages for all of the 3 days could be interesting. I think one of the sections that is absolutely great is the spectator area in the middle. Basically, you go through the sort of public roads into the ranches. I think we did 2 ranches in there. There's a great place in there where you're going to have a fantastic view. You go under the bridge, you come round the long right-hander, you go over the bridge, big jump, naturally over the jump, downhill, big jump, downhill, big jump, downhill, big jump, across the road, big jump. Lots of jumps. Jump, 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 jump.
It's jump-tastic, this stage. Exactly. It really is.
Exactly. But if you're a fan in there, you are in for an absolute treat.
David, what I like as well, we've had a look at 3 stages, 3 very different stages. Variety is the spice of life.
It is. It is. For me, I would have to say Friday, where there's the hills are around a bit more. We're down by the river overlooking Argentina. Those are the ones that I really enjoyed the most. And I think they're going to provide some of the most dramatic footage, dramatic images with the cars, as we've said a lot now, moving around and really being at all sorts of angles. Saturday and Sunday are more similar. Friday is a sort of standout day. But it's going to be great. And as you said, the weather can really throw a curveball here.
Look, that first stage that you had a quick glimpse at, if you want a better look at that stage, if you want to take a look at the whole drive-through of that stage, don't forget, have a look on the link there. That will take you through to Club DirtFish on Patreon. Subscribe to Club DirtFish, and not just that stage. There is so much more for you, the rally fan, at Club DirtFish to enjoy. We're going to bring you plenty on YouTube this weekend, but there is so much more for you to enjoy on Club DirtFish. So there we are, folks. What a rally we have in front of us. These stages do look, if nothing else, absolutely spectacular. Can't wait for it to get underway. It is going to be a cracking return to South America, a cracking debut for Paraguay in the World Rally Championship.